Whether you're a parent that's building credit or it's your child that you're trying to build their credit, a conversation needs to be had in the household at an early age. So if you missed the mark when they were in elementary school, junior high, high school, have the conversation today. This is one of the most important life conversations that you can have with your children. If you still have children that are underage, start having this conversation with them now, or even put them in front of this video and allow them to watch what I'm talking about when I start talking about credit. First thing that we need to talk about is your credit pie. So this is how your credit is measured. Now, if you look on the screen, you'll see the credit pie, right? So it's made up of 5 different areas. Your payment history, number 1 being the highest. So your payment history is 35% of your credit score. It's how you make your payments. Are you making them on time? Now, if your payment is due on the 10th and you make it on the 15th, that's not considered late. It's not considered late until you are 30 days late. So if your payment is due on the 10th of this month and you don't pay it until the 11th of next month, that is 30 days late. Or if your mortgage payment is due on the 1st and you pay it on the 16th, you pay it on the 20th, you pay it on the 29th, it's still on time. It's not going to report to the credit bureaus. But the moment you pay it after the 30 days, that becomes a 30-day late. So it's critically paramount that you make all of your payments on time because, number 1, that's 35% of your credit score. Number 2, as you see in the credit pie, 30% of your credit score is what? Your balances. These are your revolving balances. What's a revolving debt? It's your credit card payments. Credit card is one of the most important pieces of your credit. It's the holy grail of credit. If you do not have a credit card, you need to get a credit card. Now, there are so many times I've seen people, especially religious folks, they do not believe in credit cards because they do not like to owe people. And I understand. The issue with that, though, is that your score will not really move if you don't have a credit card. So just because you have a credit card, it doesn't mean you have to abuse it. Just use it. Okay, so use it, don't abuse it. Number 3 on this credit pie, as you can see, is the length of your credit card length. So the longer you have your credit cards, the longer you have your credit accounts, the better. So if you have an old account, an aged account, absolutely do not close an old credit card because that will shorten your overall history, which then can affect your credit score. So if you notice the people who have the 800, 850 credit scores, those are the people who have the lengthy credit. So you never, ever, ever want to close an old credit card. So for example, I have a credit card from when I filed bankruptcy back in 2009. I hate this credit card. Interest is bad. It's a $200 credit card. It was a secure credit card. I pay $10 a month for this damn credit card and I hate it, but I love it because it gives me that length that I need to enhance my credit score. So that length, you want to keep an old credit card. Never, ever, 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 ever close an old credit card. Number 4 are your inquiries. Okay. Now, if you notice, inquiries is only 10% of your credit score. Now, it can make a difference if you have a bunch of different inquiries. That can make a difference. But one inquiry is not going to drag your score down 30, 40, 50 points. So often when people come to me, because I am a mortgage broker and I do have my own mortgage company, and they want to have their credit pulled, then they don't want to have their credit pulled because they're scared that, oh my God, if she pulls my credit, it's going to drop my score 50 points. That's not the case. An inquiry is only, as you can see on the credit pie, 10% of your credit score. So do not be afraid to get your credit pulled if you need your credit pulled, okay? And then the last 10%, which is number 5, is the type of credit you have. So you want to have a good mix of credit on your credit report. It could be, student loans are good. That's an installment debt. That is not the same. That's not weighed the same as a revolving debt. Remember, revolving is your number 1 debt. So your student loan is an installment debt. A mortgage is an installment debt. A A car payment is an installment debt. A credit card, charge card, those are revolving debts. So let me give you an example of how they weigh differently. This is a true story. I had two clients, a husband and a wife. Their credit was eerily similar. The husband had two collections on his credit report and a credit card. The wife had one collection on her. No, she had two collections and a car note on her credit report. His credit score was higher. Why? They both have one charge account and two collections. His was higher because he had a credit card. She had a car note. Revolving versus installment. Revolving is always going to weigh much heavier than an installment is. Paying off a credit card can actually, paying down a credit card will help your score. Paying down your car note, it won't help your score one way or the other. Making that payment on time is what's going to help your score. And having the length, of course, as well. When my daughter was 18, she had an 815 credit score. How she was able to get that is because I added her on as an authorized user on several of my cards. So now when you're adding your child onto your card as an authorized user, this is important. Okay. So this is a credit hack. One of the ways you can get your children's score up is adding them on your credit card as an authorized user. Now, when you do this, you do not have to give them access to the credit card. A lot of adults, a lot of parents will not give their children authorized user access because they get a credit card along with that. They get the credit card. You only want to give it to them for the credit history. Now, only do it if these three things occur. Okay. Do not add them on your raggedy ass credit card if you have not made your payments on time. Okay. So there's three things that you should know about adding your child on as an authorized user. Three things that you need to look at, and it's part of the credit pie. Number one is the length of the credit card. Remember what that was in the credit pie? That was what, 15%. So make sure that your credit card that you're going to add them onto is at least 2 years or more old. Okay, so you want to have that length. Number two, the balance. Remember, your balances, your revolving balance, the balance, the credit to limit ratio is 30% of your pie. Right? So make sure you are 30%, no more than 50%. Okay. And number three, which is the most important, which is number one on the credit pie, is your payment history. Make sure that you've made all payments on time. You don't have zero. You have no late payments on your credit card. All right. So once you've added them onto a couple of good credit cards, they should have some good credit at this point, and it's pretty much instantaneous, like, within 30 days. After you've done this, okay, now they got you've stimulated their score. So my daughter 815 credit score, and now credit's good. So now let's do something. On these college campuses, guess what they have all over the campuses? They have offers for credit cards. Over 42% of college students are in debt. They have credit card debt. And I'm only telling you this strategy not to get you in debt, but for you to use it as leverage to build your credit. Remember with credit, use it, don't abuse it. So have your child get one of these student visas that are on campus. Use it, buy gas, maybe buy groceries. Don't go crazy on it. Use it, pay it down. Use it, pay it down. Okay? Now you're cooking with grease. They have your credit cards on there as an authorized user. You have maybe a student credit card. If they can't get a student credit card, maybe there's a secured credit card that they can get, but have them have their own credit card. Use it. Now, here's a secret to having credit cards. I want you to use it because if you don't use it, if you haven't used it in over 6 months, they can close it. And what happens to your credit score when they close it? It drops your score. And you could lose a lot of points when your credit card is closed. And you lose even more points when it's closed by credit grantor. So get a small credit card, use it, don't abuse it. Make sure you be disciplined. This is your chance to show up as an adult, to discipline yourself, because there is a greater purpose on the other side for you.